Hello everyone, good morning. Good morning. So, as host mentioned about third consecutive year, so unfortunately Bumrah missed the hat-trick in the first test, but we didn't. We come up with the third keynote session with the third consecutive year. So, we all know, like, we are just talking about the first cricket match of Australia and India, and another is a Pushpa Part 2. So I also get inspiration from that Pushpa Part 2, and I decided to start my presentation with the last year. How many of you were there in a last year's presentation? Okay, great. Hope you remember the last slide that I presented in the last year's session. AI won't replace you, but someone using AI will. This was the last slide in a last year's presentation. So, a first time ever, this is going to happen in the GDG Pune, when any speaker is continuing his last year's presentation this year, because every time we just got a 45 minutes of time. So I was not able to cover everything. So this year I decided to continue with the last year's presentation. So what has been changed in 1 year? We started with the LLM, then the advancement in the LLM, RAG, and then the agent, and the advanced agent, and whatnot. So this became the reality. Maybe last year it was just a quote. AI will not replace you, but someone using AI will. But with the agentic AI, now it become a reality. So in last year's presentation, I put another slide, which is a periodic table of the use case of generative AI. Last year, it was just idea, or you can call it my wild dream, or it can be anything. This year, it become a reality. Look at the speed that we have. Just consider if before like 10 years or 15 years, every day you have a new database, or every day there is a new language. What will be the situation? We are living in the same world where every week there is something new. And we are just trying to follow the Twitter trends or a LinkedIn trend. And by the time we understand the topic, there is a new technology. So we are living in this world where this become a reality in just 1 year. And that's why I decided to start from my previous year presentation. This year I'm going to focus on fundamentals of AI agents. Every one of us know about the agents. Everyone is talking about it. How many of you see a launch of Optimus by Tesla? That robot on stage. Very few. You should follow the Twitter and LinkedIn. Otherwise, you will not be relevant in this world of AI when there is new things every day. So ultimately, everyone is trying to replace a human work. And we are living in that world where every day there is new things, and every day people are talking about replacing someone. So today's my topic is going to be about that. What are the fundamentals of AI agents? How you can adapt or how you can build agents and how you can be part of this particular transformation. So I'm going to talk about that. And starting with that, oh, I forgot to introduce myself. So let me start with that. So generally my presentation starts with I'm a proud son of a farmer, a first engineer of family. We are building an AI company even before the LLM became a buzzword. We started in 2021 from Surat, a native generative AI company that we are building before a ChatGPT, and we built a 265 crore company in just 3 years. That was my presentation. That was my introduction in the last year again. But again, this time everyone is talking about the AI. So there should be something new. And I want to tell you, I'm a fully AI compliant speaker because my first professional project that I did in Mumbai, Mum.ai. The food that I like is th.ai, Thai. I travel internationally. My first city that I travel internationally, Dub.ai, Dubai. And I love drink chai. So today you have a fully compliant AI speaker in front of you, and this is like my new introduction according to the current time. So let's talk about the key things. Everyone is talking about the agents. People are building agents for your travel. People are building agents for finance, even your stock trading and everything. But a 52% of agents getting built in programming space. So मैंने जब फर्स्ट प्रेजेंटेशन यहाँ पे दिया था तब मेरा एक बहुत बड़े फॉन्ट में मैंने लिखा था डेवलपर्स आर किंग एंड क्वीन in this world. Now no one is talking about that. Why? because machine is taking a place of that particular position. Now people are not considering developers, including me, as a king, because everything is changed by the developers, and where the world is behind the developers. As I said, in this particular space, 52% companies are building automation for a programming. Everyone is talking about software can be built in the natural language, including GitHub CEO and everyone. You can see those posts on LinkedIn. Everyone is talking about you not need to be a professional to build a software. So world is behind us, and we need to be ahead in this particular race. So everyone is building the agent. Everyone is talking about the agent. Everyone is building the agent. If you look at the Salesforce, they launched Agentic Force, the entire thing. ServiceNow, each companies are building the agents. And according to Capgemini, 82% companies plan to integrate the AI agents in their workflow. And what will happen to 18% of rest of the 18% of company? They will become the Nokia. Yes, हमने बहुत motivational reels देखी है, Nokia और Kodak की story तो हमने बहुत देखी है. But right now, first time ever, we are going to encounter the same thing with us. Will be a Nokia or Kodak of the world, or we are going to be part of a new agentic force? Because if 82% companies are thinking about that, we need to be really, really serious about adopting agents in our life. Otherwise, we will be the next Nokia. Or this 18% companies who are saying like, okay, this is the hype cycle. This will go away, fade away very soon. They are going to be part of that 18% for sure. Now, the biggest problem with again, developers like me and you, whenever we see any new applications of AI or agents, what we think? This is just an LLM wrapper. And we ignore it. Because we have this fundamental belief, like, okay, if there is nothing like an innovation, we will not adopt it very soon. We will have that mindset, this is just an LLM wrapper. But let me tell you a reality. As a developer, what we are doing from last 20, 25 or 30 years, we are just building a wrappers. Wrappers of what? Databases. HubSpot, Salesforce, अब जो भी HR system use कर रहे हो, अगर मुझे SQL की queries पता है, why even I need to use the UI? From so long time, we are just building a wrappers by using some database and languages. So please believe, we are just in a business of building the wrappers. Now the database get changed by the LLM, and that new technology changed by something agentic flow and everything. So don't get into that mindset of like, okay, this is just a wrapper, I don't want to give a try. I want to build my own models. Don't get that into shit, because we always know we are, as an Indian, our capabilities is building the applications. And till now we did that. How many companies build the databases from India? Or a new language from India? So this is the reality, and to be part of this particular reality, just understand, try to understand the applications, and then we can get into that. So don't get into that negative mindset. This is just a wrapper, I don't want to give a try. You were building wrappers from so long time. And every application is a wrapper of a database. So this is just, I'm trying to break the mindset. And now let me talk about the fundamentals. कितने लोगों ने मूवी देखी है? मतलब मैं यहाँ पे बुढ़े लोग बहुत कम है, जेंजी ज़्यादा है, मिलेनियल्स ज़्यादा है. Okay, so ultimately Matrix में हमने agents पहली बार देखा था. And what agent has critically three things. Definitely agent has a purpose. Either it's a bad purpose or a good purpose, but अगर आपको agent build करना है, तो you need to have a purpose for an agent. If you don't have a purpose, you will not able to build an agent. And if you are adopting agent into your workflow, it must have a proper purpose, and you should realize it. So purpose is the key thing. Second, rapid learning. It must have a real-time feedback loop, and it must be improved in a real time. This is a key fundamentals of building the agents or adapting agents. If you are evaluating any agents for your life cycle, you need to follow these three things: purpose, rapid learning, and scale. Scale of performance. अब हमारे साथ प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है? Why we need to adapt the agent? हम लोग है ना, as a human being, we are emotional. जैसे आज गर्लफ्रेंड ने मॉर्निंग में स्माइल नहीं दी है, मेरा मूड ऑफ है, I can't be productive throughout the day. मुझे मॉर्निंग में प्रोडक्टिव होने के लिए चाय या कॉफी चाहिए. 5 बजे बजते बजते मेरी बैटरी डाउन हो जाती है. शादीशुदा लोग हैं तो ग्रोसरी लेने जानी होती है. सो वी हैव अ लाइक कंप्लीट परफॉर्मेंस का हाई एंड लोज ड्यूरिंग द डे. एजेंट मिनट 1 से पिक परफॉर्मेंस पे ही होगा, और एट द एंड ऑफ डे 24/7 वो पिक परफॉर्मेंस पे ही होगा. So if you are evaluating any agent, or if you are building the agent, you need to make sure it performs really well. It don't perform like a human being. एजेंट को ना तो चाय चाहिए, ना तो गर्लफ्रेंड से स्माइल चाहिए, और ना तो शादीशुदा लोगों की तरह ग्रोसरी लेने जाना है। वो भाई बहुत हंस रहे हैं, लग रहा है आप रोज जाते होंगे। Anyway, so these are the three fundamentals: purpose, rapid learning, and scale to build the agents or adapt the agent. But this is like an generic thing. So ultimately, if it is a proper purpose, a good purpose, you will able to adapt the agent and you can do a best of your work. You can be a productive, efficient in your life by adapting the agent. But how you able to adapt in your real time? So let me take an example. Mahavir, everyone know about the Mahavir? Who is Mahavir? जिनकी वजह से आप यहाँ पे बैठे हो और आज दोपहर का खाना मिलेगा। So अब मैं वापस से पूछता हूँ, किसको महावीर नहीं पता है? कौन महावीर है? हाँ देखो, सबको पता है, सबको खाना मिलेगा आज। So let's consider Mahavir as a founder and he has a job of, जैसे हम सर्विस कंपनीज के फाउंडर बोलते ही we are a CEO, but generally we do a business development, business analysis, project management work, tech lead का role and everything. Now let's take a real time scenario. Mahavir के पास एक client की request आई कि I need an estimation of this particular requirement. So Mahavir will do a requirement understanding, project scoping, complexity assessment and multiple things, and he will easily take 8 to 10 days. But as I said, we are living in a world of Jarvis. So if Mahavir get a Jarvis, what will happen? Mahavir will just put things into LLM or agent. It will take a decision. Mahavir will just need to take action. So if Mahavir get actions, by default we can reduce that 8 to 10 days of time to just 1 day. And this becomes the reality. Now you don't need to invest your manual time in doing the estimations, planning or anything. And in some time you are going to see a live demo of that as well. So this is a power of agentic AI. But if I want to build it in real time, what I need to consider? A right context and the right action. Without right context, agent will not work, and this is the biggest thing. हमको लगता है 2-4 prompt हमने डाल दिया, हमको result मिल जाएगा. That's how agent is not going to work. It needs to have a right context, and that's where we developer have an edge. If we are work on that particular part, like how we can provide a right context to agent, by default you will able to take a right actions and you will able to improve the productivity. Let me take an example. If you don't have a right context, what will happen? So this is an example of an Air Canada, where they build a simple chatbot, like anyone can put a query and they will get an answer. So someone will put a query like, my grandfather passed away, and can you give me a discount? Chatbot was empathetical because chatbot didn't have the right context कि कौन सी situation में discount देना है, कौन सी situation में नहीं देना है. हमने तो prompt में लिख दिया, you need to be empathetic because we are building a chatbot and we need to be empathetic. So हमने simple वहाँ पे एक instruction डाल दी without any context, and the chatbot give a discount to that person. And when a human being get to know about that, a person, the physical person, he cancelled the refund, and that person who got the kind of a discount, he sued the Air Canada and they need to refund the entire amount. This was the real use case. Let's make it simple. महावीर और स्वप्निल ने डिसाइड किया, नेक्स्ट टाइम हम जीडीजी में एक एप्लीकेशन बनाएंगे कि जिनको भी टिकट का अप्रूवल चाहिए, जस्ट पुट इट इन द चैटबॉट. और राइट कंटेक्स्ट देना भूल गए, और किसी पर्सन ने वापस से डाला कि यार मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है, मुझे मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ जीडीजी अटेंड करने आना है, कैन आई कम? दूसरे दिन पता चलेगा हाफ ऑफ द ऑडियंस इज विद देयर गर्लफ्रेंड and free of cost without the right context. So you need to fit the right context. Without the right context, agent will not able to take the right action, and it will produce a very wrong result, and you will think this AI is not working. But the key thing that you need to understand is the right context. No right context, no right action. So now if I want to take it into real life, how I can do? There's only 3 things that you need to understand. POA. P means process, orchestrations, and agile governance. If you are able to understand these 3 things, you will be able to build the agents and you will be able to adapt the agents as well from any companies. So what is the process? Everyone know about the process, but we generally forget to differentiate between the process and the function. So let me take a very simple example of an HR process. There is an employee onboarding and there is a HR onboarding. When we talk about the employee onboarding, it's a process. Because in an employee onboarding, you interact with the HR, finance team, your tech lead, or whoever is in the entire process, like entire company, you are going to interact with each other, everyone, and this is the entire process. But if we take just an HR onboarding, you just need to sign the documents, you need to understand the process of the companies and few other part, which is a function. If you are building an agent, you need to focus on the process, not a function. The reason is, if you are just focusing on the function, it will not be effective as you want. So ultimately, if you are building an agent or adapting the agent, you need to focus on process, not the function. ये आपको सब theories lagegi, but I fundamentally believe if you understand the principles, you can innovate your methods. But the problem with us is always we follow the methods, and whenever we stuck, we just leave it. Because we don't know what can be a next method or how I can fix this particular method. So I'm talking about the principles, I'm talking about those key things. If you have this particular part, you can invent your own methods. So that's why you need to fundamentally differentiate between the function and process while you are building the agents. Second part is orchestration, which is the hard work. We talk about the learning and everything, but in the middle layer, ELM, the enterprise learning management, like how you are going to orchestrate every request, what LLM you are going to use, what is that particular context, from where you are going to pick the particular context. So as a developer, this is purely for the developers. If everything is getting automated by the LLM and the programming language, where developer will have their edge in building these orchestrations or using an orchestration technology to build the right context and everything. So if you understand this particular layer, because I have a limited time, I'm not getting into detail of this, but I'm just giving you a few fundamentals so you can go to, when you go back to home, you can think about it, like what are the orchestration technologies, how can I use it, how can I adapt it. So the biggest magic is in the enterprise learning management, the orchestrations where you will do a routing of the smart routing of the model, smart routing of your context and everything. So you need to understand this is where world is moving. And the last part is agile governance. So there are lots of aspirational AI. So I categorize all the AI into two parts, aspirational AI and the actionable AI. Aspirational AI is something, if I look at the bolt.new, I get excited. Oh, this is a cool technology. If I look at the V0 of Vercel, I get excited. Okay, this will change the world of front-end engineers. But when I start using in my production, there are lots of questions. What will be control actions? What will be like my entire code base access? And there are hundreds of questions that we have around the organizations. If I put AI on my organization without any kind of an access control or any kind of an control, what will happen? Any enterprise will not adopt it. So ultimately, whenever you are building an AI, if you put a proper access control and proper governance, it will move from an aspirational AI to an actionable AI. So ultimately, you need to remember these three things: process, orchestrations, and agile governance. If you are able to build these things right, you will able to build a good agents. And even if you are adapting in your own flow, if you are able to, audit these three things, you will able to adapt any good agents in your production level applications. So with Jarvis and Mahavir, with a proper data flow, he can reduce his entire 100 days of work to just 10 days, 15 days, or a month. But ultimately, there is a huge scope of improve 70 to 80% of productivity in whatever work you are doing with the agentic flow. And we were talking in the previous session, you were talking about the buzz and the hype. Are we in the buzz cycle or are we in the hype cycle? Still, we are not able to figure out. But definitely, there is a hype cycle. Right now, we are at the peak of inflected expectation. Whenever we see any AI technology, by default, back of the mind, we want 100% of accuracy. So when we build a first AI, where we are converting Figma designs into code, generally the feedback that we receive from the developers, we're like, okay, it is 80, 90% accurate or 75% accurate. I will use when it will become 100% accurate. But they forget to simply ask one question to themselves. If it becomes 100% accurate, will you be in the team? So whenever we are expecting 100% accuracy from AI to adapt it in your life cycle, you need to ask this question. Will you be in team to use the technology or not? Because then it will be an autopilot. So we are in that inflected expectations life cycle where we are expecting 100% accuracy or very high accuracy. We don't want to, so many times I got this thing from users and whenever I interact with the developers. The debugging is tough when I generate the code from AI. But again, my counter question is that, okay, debugging is tough, but are you able to do it in a one day? Yes, okay. How many days you took to build a simple authentication flow? 4 hours, okay. How many days you took to put it in the production without bugs? There is an uncertainty. So why are you thinking like मुझे एक दिन debugging में लगता भी नहीं है. This is just a mindset. So I'm trying to say like just set up your reality. The reason of doing that, when you will set up your reality, definitely you will have an edge. You will be advanced. Generally हम Indians बहुत brutal है, but we are just followers. जब तक हमारी फटती नहीं है, तब तक हम उसको consider नहीं करते हैं. Versus in SF, they give a try to everything and they try to figure out how we can make it happen. Versus यहाँ पे ये नहीं चल रहा है. I don't want to try. We never think how it can work. We need to change our fundamental thinking of adapting the AI. Then and then we can have an advantage. Otherwise, we will be just followers. हम 20 months 20 साल पहले भी $8 per hour में भी काम 8 dollars per hour में काम कर रहे थे और आज की तारीख में भी हम 8 से 10 dollar per hour में पहुंचे हैं. But we never able to get the maximum value out of the technology. Right now, technology in front of you, but just because of in our mindset, we are not able to adapt it and we can grow from the $10 to $100 or $200 per hour का price. जब आप followers बनोगे तब तक तो सब साफ हो चुका है, तब कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा. So just don't get into that hype cycle of like, okay, this is not working, this is not for me. Just try to make sure how you can make it happen. And with that, as I said, like DhiWise started with Figma to code. People have lots of questions. Last year we talked about a code generation platform, like on booth, and yesterday I met lots of speakers and I said like, okay, whatever you see in DhiWise was just in 1x and today it's going to be 100x. So today, whatever we are going to announce is not just an incremental update of DhiWise, but it's a complete orbital shift. And for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to give you a deep dive in the agentic AI workflow, what kind of potential it has, and how it can automate the entire software development lifecycle. So let's get ready for that.
We don't really have much to talk about aside from AI.
AI is going to be in our lives across everything we do.
This will forever change the way we create software.
The utility it'll bring to people to help them write software is going to, I think, be astonishing.
Yeah, but does it work?
What about the developer experience?
Is it reliable?
What about the actual project context?
What about operational sync?
Can I trust these AI agents?
I guess what I'm asking is, can this possibly be as effective as my software development team?
So till now, our positioning where we were Figma to code platform. But now this is not the only positioning that we have. We are moving towards a complete software development lifecycle. And definitely for a software development lifecycle, we all have a different perspective. If you are from a business analyst background, for your software development lifecycle start from a business analysis. If you are into purely a programming, for you, maybe a first line of code or a project repository setup from where your software development lifecycle started. But when I said a software development lifecycle automation as an actual definition where we are going to automate from a first planning to a complete maintenance stage, and you are going to witness that entire software development lifecycle automation in next 20 minutes. So in software development lifecycle, we have multiple things like requirement analysis, system design, user story writing, progress reporting, effort estimations, and everything. We always measure our productivity by saving a time in programming, but we never measure a productivity how many minutes we spend in meetings. We afraid like how many CXOs are there? No one? Okay, we have. So as a CXO, we afraid if we start measuring productivity by meeting time, then we will be in trouble because we love doing meetings. मैं free हूँ मैं क्या करूँ चलो developers को बुलाते meetings करते हैं. So ultimately from that meeting time to everything, we are going to slash out the entire unproductive time from your software development lifecycle. So all this become your software development lifecycle from a planning to a maintenance, as I said. And how we are going to automate this entire part. So as I said, like till now we were like just a Figma to code platform. But now we have a requirement builder where we are doing the entire analysis, estimations, UX planning of the project. In the project planner, we are going to do your entire user story, database planning, test cases, and whatnot. In design converter, we are converting Figma designs into code. And in a coding assistant, we are going to have a complete task to code. You just need to put a task and we will generate end-to-end code in the diff view. So you can call it like entire end-to-end programming automations. But the biggest thing is, it's completely promptless. You don't need to worry about your prompt or managing a temperature or doing multiple things in your kind of an ID or anywhere. It's a completely promptless generative AI technology that we built. And instead of talking about the theory, let's look at the live demo. Definitely live demo is notorious. Google का भी नहीं चलता है, Tesla का भी नहीं चलता है, तो हमारा भी फट सकता है. यहाँ पे इंटरनेट का वैसे इश्यू है, so this is a disclaimer. अगर इंटरनेट डेमो फटता है तो it's okay, you can visit our booth and you can get a detailed demo. ठीक है? I will try. अभी तक नहीं फटा है, but let's see आज क्या होता है. So this is the only input. So we build one applications for a GDG Pune. This is the only input that you will give it to our system, where you just need to put a brief. This brief can be a 40-liner, or this brief can be as detailed as a 400 line of an detail. So here you can just put a one-liner requirement, like, okay, build a clone of, let's say, Swiggy. And that's it. That's the only one line of input that we'll capture from you. If you receive a requirement or RFP document from your client, you can directly upload the documents and everything. We have a facility for that. So what we'll automatically do, we'll articulate entire requirement and everything. We'll generate the project brief. So we have lots of things, but as I said, generally it took 2 hours to give this demo. I'm compacting the entire demo in 15-20 minutes. So I'm not going into detail of everything, but this is the only input that you will give, what kind of a project you have, a small, big, enterprise. And from that, our magic will start. You will not need to put any prompt. From a client requirement, what we will do is like generate all the detailed modules. So this is a work of a business developer. So now I will walk you through each and every role of your IT company, how we are going to automate, like from a business developer to business analyst to a project manager, how we are going to help them to do this entire work. So once you put the requirement, what we will do is like generate the entire scope documentation within a minute. So ultimately, we will generate all the modules which is required to build this project. Not just in modules, we will generate all the key features, business value, security considerations, scalability aspect, and everything, just on one click. And right now, we deploy it to multiple users, and our accuracy and reliability, relevancy of results is like out of 10, we got a 9-star. So without putting a prompt from your business brief, we will able to identify what exact modules you need to build, what will be your security considerations, that will be converted to your non-functional requirement later on, as well as we have facility, OpenAI Canvas, सबने देखा ही होगा. So let's say कि अगर हमारा कोई भी result आपको लगता है कि this is not valid, you want to change this particular result, you can use our this particular panel from where you can modify this entire documentation. So we will generate each and every detail of your modules. Now, why we are doing this? Because in developers lab, the biggest problem is I didn't had the clear requirement, and that's why I messed up with this particular code. And as I said, like we are removing the meeting times, documentation time, and everything. So we started with the first thing, like, okay, let's freeze the scope in a 100% quality way. So by default, you will have a complete base to do a quality work without worrying about your assumptions, without worrying about any other things. So once you have these particular requirements and everything, what we will do for a business, so this is the job of a business developer. Now from this particular modules, we will work on a business analyst role. So how many of you know about the Babok standards? So Babok is an international standard for doing a business analysis, like how you need to draft out your detailed business requirements from each and every module from your scope. So this is the beauty. Even if you don't know about the topic, you don't need to learn that. We will adapt all the standards and we will automate that entire part. You just need to review it once, and every time we will give you same clarity. So ultimately, for every modules, we will generate all the functional requirements, non-functional requirements, and everything is connected. Again, there is no prompt at all. You just need to click on the menu, assumptions, and constraint. Every functional requirement will have a detailed requirement about the acceptance criteria and the micro details, like acceptance criteria, user story, developer notes, and everything. Again, no prompt. So ultimately, in just 30 minutes, I'm able to do my entire work of scope documentation and the analysis. You just need to review it. Now it's up to you how fast you can review the documents. If you take much time, like 2 days, it's okay. In 2 days also, you will have a work of 20 to 30 days in front of you. You just need to review it. If there is anything that you want to add, you can add it into this. This system is completely flexible, and you can directly share these documents with your client from the system. So you don't need to do a copy-paste of your response from a ChatGPT, Claude, or anywhere and put in the email and anything. It's like end-to-end automation from a client collaboration to everything. Now let's say I have these things ready, but my biggest problem is my CEO always explain a complex business rules on whiteboard, and we never have a documentation of my business rules. Business rule is something where, okay, we are coming from a different background. Like as a developer, I don't know what is like stock trading. And because my company have a project of a stock trading, I'm trying to understand it. And again, मैं वापस से girlfriend वाले example पे चला जाता हूँ. Meetings हम लेते हैं 2 घंटे की. We have a 2 hours of meeting. मेरा mood है आज खराब. And my business analyst is explaining a complex formula or a complex flow of stock trading. Like, मेरा दिल कहीं और है, मेरा दिमाग कहीं और है. So ultimately, we always understand from our perspective to reduce that entire assumptions and everything. What we did, we generate all the possible business rules on one click from your project scope and the functional requirement, whatever you decide. Yes, so all this business rule, not just in business rule, we will generate all possible process. So let's say this is a business rule of refund and cancellation of ticket. We'll generate the entire process, like, okay, how you will receive the cancellation, can we go back to process? And to upload to internet records and logs. So we'll generate all the processes, not just in processes, to give a better explanation to our developers. We'll also generate all the real-time examples, what will happen in this. So we'll do a documentation of each and every business rules. Either it's a complex formula, it will be a complex flow or anything. You don't need to worry about anything. So this is a role of a business analyst of doing a functional requirement, non-functional requirement analysis and the business rule analysis. Within, again, a few minutes, we are able to generate all these things. You just need to review and confirm this thing. Okay, this is good for my project. Now I want to move ahead. Now a job of an senior designer. They do all the user persona planning and the journey. Like, okay, user will come on this, user will click on this menu, user will go there. We'll generate all possible user journeys, and inside the user journey, we'll give you a complete flow. Like, okay, what will happen? A user will go on a profile setup, he will discover the like-minded professionals, send connection requests, schedule meetup and everything. So as a developer, whenever you have a question, you don't need to go back to that person. How we are increasing the productivity and reducing the mundane time? हमारी लाइफ में सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम ये होता है, I have a doubt. But the person who gave me the requirement, a senior person, is in another meeting. Now I need to wait for 2 hours to get the information about that. If I started my work, then it will have a bug, and person will scold me, why you started without my approval. And if I just stay without any work, then another person will come, why you are like not doing any kind of work. So you don't need to worry about that meeting times or anything because everything is documented. You just need to do a chat with our system. So we have a chat feature as well. So whatever you want to know, you just put a chat. Like, okay, can you explain this particular business rule? And from this context, which is already verified, your business analyst will give you like complete answers and everything. So this is a role of a senior UX person. We are not just doing this. We are also giving you a list of all the screens. Because as a developer, to do estimations, what we are doing, we will make a list of all the screens. Like how many screens you need to design to build this particular application. So we'll give you a list of all the screens which needs to be there. And from this screen, we'll give you detail of wireframing as well. And definitely we are going to give you integration. So just put this description into Figma AI or something else, and you will have your design and everything ready. Just put that design into, again, DhiWise, and we will give you a front-end code of React, React Native, Flutter, Kotlin, Swift, and all these languages. So that's how we are reducing the work of an UI UX person. So till now, in just 5 minutes of demo, we automate the scope, we automate the analysis, we automate the business rules, we automate the work of user journey, screen planning, and the detailing of that particular screen, which you need to review. This is a complete process-driven agentic flow, which I talked in my presentation earlier. Now, this is a part of like non-technical resources. Then as a technical resources, what is there for me? So you just need to put the configuration inside our system. So configuration is something where you will select the technology. Like, okay, in which particular language you want to build this particular project. Like in Node.js, Python, or whatever language. And let's say if you have an ongoing project, we have a coding assistant. So from there, you can able to generate the meta description. Meta description is like your folder structure and everything will extract from your entire code base. You just need to upload the file, which communication protocol you want to follow, the monolithic architecture, microservice architecture, RESTful, GraphQL, or whatever is there. Once you put this information, then again, another real magic will start. What we will do, we'll convert all the functional requirements and whatever decided in the scope with that particular technology into complete feature breakdown. But before that, let me walk you through, like, this is like complete architecture plan that will generate it for you. High-level architecture, service discovery, API gateways, and everything. Not just this. The beauty is diagrams, because diagrams are business banta hai. And as a developer, we hate generating the diagrams. We will generate all the diagrams, high-level architecture diagram, data model diagram, sequence diagram, and everything without putting any prompt. So this is the beauty of the platform, and you can request us for any new diagrams. Within 5 days, we are able to give it to you on production. So that's the level of technology that we built in last 1.5 years. Now, after, can we go to functional decomposition? Okay, so before the functional decomposition, यार आपने business rules तो बहुत बना दिए. You generate all the good business rules, but now as a developer, I need to code it as well. What is there for me? Because business rule is for the business analyst. So what we did, we convert all the business rules into a front-end, back-end, and mobile app business logic. So even you not need to worry which particular part you will move to a front-end business logic, what you will write it for the back-end business logic. So we'll generate all the business logic. Can we go to a business logic, please? So we'll generate all the back-end business logic, not just in logic. Can you click on any of this? Yes. So this is a live demo. My team is helping me over here. Here we will generate all the algorithmic process for converting that business rule into a business logic, where we'll have a complete back-end dependencies, algorithmic process, and everything. So as a developer, you just need to read this, so you even not need to plan it out. We'll convert all the business rules into a complete business logic. Not just this. ये not just this थोड़ा repeat होगा मेरा, क्योंकि I am quite थोड़ा excitement में आ जाता हूँ मेरे खुद को product को देख के इस बार. So we'll generate the pseudocode for you as well. You just need to put this pseudocode into our coding assistant, and we'll generate the complete code for you. So that's how we connected the entire software development lifecycle, from a business rules to business logic to everything. Still, it's not magical. Let me show you a magic. We'll convert all your requirement into a functional features. This is a technical feature breakdown, but now because we have the entire context, so मैंने आपको जो explain किया था, right context, right action. Because we have the entire context of the project, what we will do, we'll generate all the database models for you. Like complete, in this particular project, we put a MongoDB. So you will have all the MongoDB database details in front of you with all the field. Like we check our results, even customer give us a feedback. Like one of our customers said like they want to build a HR system for India. So when we will generate the database, we'll take a PAN number, Aadhaar card, and everything into database consideration. So that level of detail we are able to generate. You don't need to do a chat with a system. Again, this is a completely promptless. So whenever you are generating it from the GitHub Copilot or a ChatGPT or anything, what you just need to do a chat. Like, okay, you forget this particular field, you forget that, because it does not have the context. Because we build the right context, with that right context, we are having the right actions, and we are able to generate complete database diagram, not just database modeling. We will suggest you like what should be there in the indexing to optimize your database. Not just this, we'll also give you data model diagrams for every models and all the considerations and everything. Not just this. We are also giving you a complete API endpoint documentation for your entire thing with a complete sample request, response, and all these things with the status code and all. So this is our API endpoint documentation for every modules. You will get a complete Swagger kind of an UI where you can access all the API endpoints without any prompts. अब फ्रंट एंड डेवलप बैक एंड के लिए इतना कर दिया, फ्रंट एंड के लिए कुछ तो होना चाहिए. We are also giving you UI, all the UI components and everything. Not just in UI components, we also give you associated screens. We already did the screen planning, so we'll tell you this UI component is associated with this particular screen, so you don't need to talk to a designer like ये component लाना कहाँ से? What is the design? We'll give you a complete connected flow with all the UI components that you need to build, a description and everything. With this, अब इतने लोगों के लिए कर दिया तो QA को क्यों बाकी रखे? टेस्ट केसेस, a biggest problem. हम टेस्ट केसेस के नाम में सिर्फ यूनिट टेस्ट लिखते हैं. TDD is just an approach of conferences. We talk about the TDD, but we never implement it because it's a time-consuming process. So for that, what we are doing, we are generating all possible test cases, functional test case, UI test case, API test case, and everything. And because we have a context of your database, we have the right context, we are able to generate the action plan as well. So if you see it over here, like session, schedule, and everything, we will give you a complete planning of your test cases. So eventually, in next 3 to 4 months, we will be that capable where our coding assistant will help you to generate code with a TDD approach without putting any prompt, without doing a chat, or without doing anything, because we have the right context, and because of that, we are able to build the right actions. So that's how we are automating all the test cases and its action plan. So now I hope it's magical and कुछ अच्छा लगा तो तालियां बजा सकते हो. Okay, so now let's go back to a project manager. As a developer, I don't know how to write a user story, and I don't able to differentiate what is the user story and what is the task. मेरा प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर मुझे बोलता है WBS भी लेके आओ और यूजर स्टोरी भी लेके आओ. अब मैं एक छोटा सा दिमाग कितना सोचेगा? So what we did is like we generate all the possible user stories from your context in a proper format of a user story. So you don't need to think. You just need to review it. So we'll generate all possible user stories of every module. Not just a user story, we'll generate the detail of every user stories with a happy path, unhappy path, which API needs to be called, what will be your error message, each and everything inside your user stories. So that's how we are helping project managers and developers to draft all the user stories, because we know Agile is on paper. But whenever there is a hard timeline, we forget about Agile, we forget about user story and everything. मुझे ये करके दे. So we don't want you to get in that particular zone, and that's why we are automating all the user stories and everything. Now when we have the user stories, अब WBS क्यों छोड़ दे? So from every user story, we are able to generate a detailed work breakdown structure. In this particular project, we have the backend and the mobile application. So from API implementation to event schedule, we have a complete work breakdown structure of your all the tasks. And now, because we have a technology like Cursor Compose, GitHub Copilot, or whatever we are using for a code generation, the biggest problem is like you cannot explain your entire task in 400 to 500 lines to a chat GPT or anything else. And that's where we need to do a lots of chat, and we feel like it can improve my 30% of productivity. So what we did, because again, we have the right context, and without prompt, we are able to generate all the details. So whenever you will click on the task, we will generate complete description of your task, which you can put it in our coding assistant or a cursor of the world, wherever you want to put. You will get like complete code, because in this task detail, we are able to cover all the acceptance criteria, technical, non-technical, how we are going to handle the error and everything. So instead of doing a chat with a system, we will generate a complete task detail for you. You can sync this task into your Jira, ClickUp, or whatever you are using. And from Jira, you can directly import into our coding assistant, and you will get the complete code. So till now, we see a two product, requirement builder, where we are automating a plan to UX part. In a project planner, we are automating entire technical planning of your project. This is just a beginning. We just launched this website yesterday night, and we launched our product in stealth mode. We already have users who are using it like up and down, left, right, and they are getting a super good value where they are saying like they are able to automate 70% of the work. And again, I'm saying this is just a beginning. Now, another magic. ये सब तो हो गया. As a programmer, what I will do? So that's where we have a complete IDE plugin. So we know as a developer, you hate working on a browsers. So we build an IDE plugin for that particular part, where you can pick this particular task and you can generate it. But before that, let me tell you one more thing. आपने software development life cycle का बोला, but you forget about the maintenance. My biggest problem is the new request and the change request. So this is good for a fresh project, but what will happen if I get the new request or a change request? We solve that for you as well. So you just need to put one single new request. So here we put like, okay, wanted to add a support of a live streaming with active and deactivate events. This is the only statement that we put inside the system. We'll do analysis of entire system, and we'll tell you what will be the impact. And this is like, okay, story. What is going to be your affected components and everything. But when you will say like, okay, give me a detail, we will tell you what database field you need to change, what will be the user story that will be impacted, what screen you need to change, each and everything just from a one sentence. So here if you can see, like current implementation is this, proposed change is this, impacted detail is this, every detail. So we are helping you to maintain your project, which is the last part of your software development lifecycle. So whenever you change anything, even if you alter any single database field, we will trigger the new request and change request management flow, and we'll tell you if you touch this, be ready to spend your night in office, forget about the grocery shopping. Because this is a bigger change and you cannot trigger directly, because we will give you a complete proactive dependency detection from your one single change. So your client or anyone who is working on the new request and change request, you don't need to worry, because we have the entire context. And because of that context, we are able to give you right actions. Like, okay, this is the entire change management and everything. So we solve this particular part, we solve the estimations and lots of other things. But now I just have 5 minutes, so I don't want to waste it on this. Let me move back to Wise GPT part. So here I'm just copying this particular part for my Wise GPT. And let's have a demo of our IDE plugin. So we have a task to code. What you just need to do, put this task into our task management and generate the code. So ultimately, like what is happening, let me explain you. So in a minute of time, what we'll do, we'll analyze your entire, so we have a connected ecosystem. So we are the only tool in the world who has the context of your design, who has the context of your project, and who has the context of your code base. So ultimately, we figure out like what are the files that we need to pick for this particular context, and when you will click on the generate code, we'll start generating the complete plan and code, and we'll put you in the diff view. So here we are doing the complete offline analysis of your code base, where we are able to get the right context, we have the context of your task, we pick the right files. Again, as I said, it's completely promptless. So you don't need to do a chat with the system. We'll analyze your code base, which particular file needs which particular change according to your task, and we'll generate complete code base for you in just like 30 to 45 seconds. By that time, if you have any questions, like I can answer. I can take one question here, just to save time. Okay. We'll take more questions. Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Mentioned that you guys are catering from Figma now to code. My question is, since how do you guys make sure that since this is my proprietary code, your AI agent is not learning from it, and let's say someone else won't get a benefit out of it?
Okay, so for a code generation part, we are not storing any of the code that we are generating on our server, and that's why we build the IDE plugin. So whatever code we will generate, we'll put it into your IDE, so in your local IDE, and we'll not store it anywhere on a server. We are just storing a project management data because we want to help you in a new request and the change request. And even if you don't want to do that, you can delete the project. And we are a complete SOC 2 ISO compliant company with a GDPR norms and everything. We have in our terms and conditions, we are not training anything on our data. So be rest assured on that. And we have all the compliances and everything checked with us. And we are not storing any of your code, single line of a code on our server. So that's how we are managing. So whenever you do a new request, we will analyze your code at that particular time. And that's why it takes a 1 minute of time, because we don't have a pre-context of your code, because we are not storing it. And that's why it will take a 1 minute of time.
Got it.
Hello.
Okay. So because we have a generated code, we'll take all the questions. Just give me 2 minutes. So here, if you can see, like, thank you. We'll answer more questions after the completion of demo. So we'll generate all the code like this in a diff view from the task. You just need to review this. If you want to change, we have chat features and many more. So whatever features you have in a GitHub Copilot or Cursor, we have all. But right now, I'm not getting into detail. So here, you can just review. You can accept the code. You can go on a second change. You can just review, and you can accept the code. So ultimately, without doing anything, you just need to sit quiet, enjoy the show, watch your Netflix movie till the time we are generating the code, review it, and again, start generating a new code and watch Netflix movie. Aisa mat karna. I'm not responsible if your CEO fires you by following my advice. But that's how we are automating entire task to a code part without putting any prompt. We have other features as well. As I said, like you can convert entire pseudo code into a code base. So for that, we have a custom commands. So what you can do, last 2 minutes of my demo, abhi tak fata nahi hai. Thanks to my team, so you can put a huge round of applause for my team as well. So by just putting that pseudo code, we'll start generating the code by using our custom commands. And we have a lot many, but because I want to give you time for question answer as well. So I'm just explaining a little bit of features. One more thing that we solved over here, a context of, and can you just highlight that particular feature, a knowledge base. So whenever as a developer, if you have any questions, we have a connected knowledge base feature. So you can directly do a chat with our system where you can ask a question about requirements, planning and everything inside this only. So ultimately, we have a project knowledge base where you can put any questions and we'll explain that particular feature from a requirement side. So we are not just answering a questions on your code base, but we are answering a questions on your knowledge base as well. And we have one more exciting feature, which is really good and which is quite unique in nature. We talk about the proactive dependency inside the project management flow, but we have the same thing inside the code as well. So before start working on any feature, you can just put that particular task, and we will tell you how many files you need to modify, what will be the impact, what is the kind of a magnitude of the impact. So last year I talked about the proactive dependency detection, and as I said, it was my wild theory. Like software development should be a proactive. It can't be a reactive. As a software developer, we have an open canvas. We can do whatever things that we want to do, and then QA fix karta rahega. And then we got into that bug cycle. So entire software development is a reactive. You do a work first and then we'll tell you there is a bug during the debugging or during the QA cycle. What we are trying to do is like making entire software development as a proactive. Before starting a work, we will tell you what will be the impact, how many files you need to consider. So we will give you a complete impact analysis on the project management side as well as code side. So we have both the features where we are analyzing the entire code base and we are giving you proper results. So these are the few features. And as I said, we have the features like in custom code chat on the code base and all the GitHub Copilot. So because just I have 2 seconds, I'm moving back to my few slides of presentation. So this was the live demo. If you want to go into detail, you can check our booth. We will give you a detailed demo. If you are a CXO, you can. We have another sessions where we are going to deep dive into product for a 1 hour. So I try to compose my entire 2 hours of demo into 20 minutes, and I hope I give a justice to your time. Let me complete rest of the presentation. Okay, so this is like a summary, requirement builder, project planner, and what role we are automating with this particular part. Not 100%, but we are elevating those roles. I must say that. Design converter, I'm just skipping this. Coding assistant. So this is a summary of our entire product. And generally, we like to do this thing, like AI, that thinks like an CXO, analyze like an analyst, plan like an PM, code like an developer, all in one platform with the right context, with the right actions. And we want to provide a very talented assistant to every developers. Why should CXO only have the fun? Sabki personal assistant hoti hai. In form of an DhiWise one, we can provide a personal assistant to each and every role in your IT company where you just give a command and you just review the work. So that's the entire plan behind this. And with this, I want to leave it with one more quote. Hope मैं Pushpa 3 release karu next year with a further presentation. But in 2023, it was just a tool. In 2024, it become your team in form of an agent. So only thing that will remain with you is like just stay curious and stay unstoppable, because AI is going to change the things, but AI will not have a vision. So as a human, you can dream, you can have a vision, and you can automate it. So with this, I'm completing my presentation. Thank you so much. And because of a time limit, I just take 1 or 2 questions, and then if you have any questions, like I can take it to on the booth. Yeah, please. देखो, थोड़ा सा कम हल्का वाला सवाल पूछना, भारी सवाल का मैं आंसर नहीं दे पाऊंगा. Really good question. Okay, so the question is like in which domain it works. So right now we started with a complete web and mobile application. It works on all the domains, and we have a facility where we can customize for the end users. So ultimately, we can talk to about that on our booth. As well as, we are going to launch development for gaming, blockchain, and everything. In game, we are going to give you all the physics, game metrics, and everything. For a blockchain, we are going to generate smart contracts. Ultimately, we are going to cover each and every field. In the first rollout, we automate the web and mobile app development. But in a 3 months, we are going to have a support of game development, blockchain, AR, VR, and the AI application development as well. One more question.
Sir,
yeah.
यहाँ पर. Sir, hello. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Too many questions, yes.
Last. I just want to ask.
There is a time's up, so I need to respect the time. Okay, take one question. Okay.
Sir, कौन सी कंपनीज या प्रोडक्शन में ये काम हो रहा है? किसके साथ?
क्यों भाई मरवा रहे हो? अभी मैंने उसको बोला हम SOC 2 और ISO compliant company, and you are asking me about what companies are using it.
नहीं, like production में people are using it?
Yes, so I will give you example. We will not take a company's name. So there is one company, a product company, who are having a 24 lakhs rupees of a Zoho CRM subscription. Within a 1.5 month, they replace entire Zoho CRM with a custom built CRM, and they slash out the entire 24 lakh rupees of cost within 1.5 months, and they are already having this CRM in production. So we have lots of this kind of case studies, but I'm just giving a very quick case studies to you.
Existing product पे भी हम लोग कर सकते हैं, right? Yeah.
You can visit our booth. We will give all the answers there.
Sure. Thank you so much. And
we have time's up, so I want to just leave with one quote. So no one of you asked this particular question. Generally, मैं motivations में नहीं जाता हूँ, but this is a field where I get little bit of motivation and become a poetic. So we got always a question like GitHub Copilot, Microsoft, Google, everyone is building this technology. How you can stay in market building from Surat? This is a common questions that we always receive, but that's where we feel proud. Like competition भी देखो कहाँ पे हो रही है? सूरत की एक company is like people are comparing if Microsoft will build this, what you will do. So for that, I will complete my presentation with this thing. विश्व रण में उतरे हैं, संकल्प हमारा भारी है, या तो इतिहास रचेंगे या तो वीरगति हमारी तैयारी है, दिग्गजों से है टक्कर या तो गर्व या निरवता, जित की होगी गाथा या शौर्य की होगी अमरता. Thank you so much for being really good audience for us. And just to, like, I know my presentation was quite long. To just summarize everything into just 1 minute and 30 seconds, I want to show you a very quick video, and you will be able to understand our entire product. Thank you so much.
The AI revolution is transforming software development, but is your SDLC truly optimized? Endless meetings, constant verbal communication, and managing change requests can slow your progress and impact your bottom line. Even with Gen AI tools, you may face hurdles like juggling multiple tools, ensuring accuracy and relevance. What if you could overcome these obstacles and turn them into your greatest advantage? Introducing DhiWise, a prompt-less AI superpower for automating the entire software development lifecycle. Powered by cutting-edge LLMs, DhiWise is your key to becoming a Gen AI-first organization. DhiWise assists you from requirement analysis to crafting a comprehensive development plan, ensuring you deliver exceptional value to your clients. It instantly understands your needs, generating outputs that align your team from day one. It's as intuitive as a brainstorming session, but with the power to revolutionize your development process. From concept to final code, DhiWise streamlines every step. DhiWise ensures quality and consistency, freeing your team from common Gen AI challenges. With top-tier security standards, DhiWise protects your data while accelerating development. Imagine projects delivered on time, under budget, and exceeding quality expectations. Your team can innovate and lead in ways you never thought possible. The future of software development is here.
Developers spend 30% of their time on unit testing as part of the software development lifecycle. Maintaining a growing suite of unit test cases is mundane, complex, and error-prone. The root cause of most production issues is